Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Stages Podcast, the podcast that bridges the generational gap between baby boomers and millennials and everyone in between. I'm the boomer. I'm Mary.
I'm the millennial. I'm Lorena.
And I'm also a millennial. I'm Zach. I'm the producer of this podcast. By the way, if you like what you're hearing, you'll like what you will be seeing if you click the YouTube link at the top of the description.
That's what's up. And today we're doing a short, sweet, and upbeat episode of Stages, and we're talking about overthinking. Let's think about it. So we're going to have a quick think here and just talk about overthinking.
Right. Have you guys ever overthought, like, anybody out there listening? Let's think about it. Me, totally overthinker all the time.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. I overthink it, but I'm trying not to. I'm trying to just be like, just go for it. Just do it.
Yes. So is there any like tools you've used to like help yourself when you've overthought then another thought comes in, is like, you know what? Just do it. Or just, is there like a tool or a method you have for like catching yourself and spinning the wheel another way?
There's no tool. It's just I realize I'm doing it. Like I start looking at something and I'm like, okay, all right. So like say if I'm going to do like a post for my Brave Hers account or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, well, let me look at this. And I do some stuff on Canva and I keep playing with it. And I'm like, well, how can it be a little bit better? And I'm like, man, just go with your gut instinct. Stop it right here. It's all good. It's not that serious. I think that's always my tagline. It's not that serious. Mm-hmm.
And I like just what you're saying is like, I feel like not overthinking or avoiding overthinking is a skill that must be practiced and like a muscle that has to be strengthened, you know, kind of like connecting to your intuition. Like there's a way to build that muscle within you. The more you trust it, the more stronger it gets and the more it knows that you know and you're all connected. And I think with overthinking, it's the same. Like recently, you know, in the past few months, I signed to an agency, and so I've been doing a lot of virtual auditions, which
awesome.
I think has been a huge, haven't booked anything yet, but just the like practice of getting an audition, you have 48 hours to get it back. And so you can't overthink it. I can't over memorize sides and lines. I can't over practice a song. It's literally just like getting it good enough, filming it fast enough, editing it quick enough, and sending it back. And it's like really helped me gain a lot of perspective on my like over perfectionist qualities when it comes to art and stuff, because like there's that saying that's like done is better than perfect, and it's so true. Because
I agree.
Like, especially with casting, like I could do the best and spend all the time, but that doesn't change if I submit and they want a girl who looks slightly older than me and she happens to also audition. Like, there's so many variables we can't control, so we might as well just like quickly control most efficiently as we can and like move on, and then we won't be hung up or like sad about it. You know what I mean? If it takes so long and sucks
and
our
it's
energy.
probably just as good, and if not even better than overthinking something, right? Just going with your initial intuition. Right?
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. Oh, it's a really interesting topic. I feel like I mean I'm trying to I almost feel like I'm overthinking right now about like when have I overthought something? And I guess I'm good at thinking about something the right amount. Like if I'm working on a video or something, a lot of times I'll think about it and then I'll kind of set it aside. And I really find that like inspiration comes to me at the craziest moments. Like something will just like boom, come to my head, and it's like not a fully formed, but like a nearly fully formed idea of like, this is what the final product of this thing should look like. I feel like in that sense, I've learned like, don't overthink things. Like you'll think of the right thing when you need to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't
I don't know.
overthink it. It'll just sort of come to you.
Yeah, like if it doesn't feel right, put it to the side and move on, and then circle back rather than staying on it. And yeah, that totally makes sense.
And I've done that a lot. Like take something like not feeling this. I'm putting it away for now, and wait until I have a good idea. And it'll come. It'll come because it's always kind of ruminating in my brain a little bit.
And kind of because you have built that muscle of trust that you're like, oh, I trust, I know because it always works out. It always happens. And you're like saying that, and your body knows that, and your spirit knows that. And so you don't have self-doubt of like, what if I don't? So I have to force myself to stay glued till I figure it out. You know what I mean? Like you've like worked that muscle so hard with your like trust in the creation that it will always come to be. That's so cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I do that like with writing sometimes. Like I'll always like usually like when I'm first waking up is my mind, that period before you're really awake and you're still kind of asleep. That is like the best time for my mind to like think of all these great things. It just kind of comes then, and that's when I have like a pen and paper, and I'm like, okay, like write it down in kind of that sleep days. And there's been times that I don't write it down, and I completely forget what it was, and I was like, man, that was just like amazing what I thought of, and it's gone because I didn't write it down. But yeah, so it's good to put things aside like that. Mm-hmm.
And just keep on moving till it comes back.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Word. Yeah, because
the last thing I'll say too is that. Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead,
Mary.
I forgot what I was gonna say. So you go ahead.
Oh, no.
I'm overthinking what I was gonna say.
Should have written it down. Should have written it down.
The last thing I was gonna say too is that I have thought like we're saying overthinking, but also I think overthinking shows up in a lot of different genres, and like for me, overthinking shows up as procrastination, and that's something I've really become like I've always known that about myself. I used to always procrastinate on projects, whatever, growing up, but I started like very more intentionally being like, I need to get to the root of this. What is the root of this? And I watched a really interesting TED Talk by this man who talks about the root of procrastination is to do with self-worth, and how like people will procrastinate or overthink or whatever as a way of kind of avoiding success and failure at the same time. Like you're actually like avoiding both, because say you do really hardcore work on something and you give it your all and you give yourself plenty of time of planning and whatever, and then it isn't as good as you hoped. Well, if you procrastinated and you didn't put that much into it, then you're kind of like, oh, I did it on the fly, blah, blah, blah. And then, but if you, yeah. So it's kind of like, or if you procrastinate and you did it and it does work out, then it's like, oh, it didn't take me that much. Yeah, I just did it last minute. Like it's kind of a like keeping yourself in mediocrity in a way as like a self-protection mechanism, which I think overthinking is kind of that for me too, and that I'm realizing of like, instead of just making a decision and moving on or letting it go and come back, it's like a lack of faith kind of in the universe and myself and my own worth of what I'm capable of. And so I've been just processing that more and figure out like what are the ways I can check myself and keep myself in check. And even just this conversation is helping me like understand more what I was trying to what I'm trying to instill in my real life and not just think about.
Wow, that's like so interesting. I mean,
it's really a great TED Talk.
I want to hear that TED Talk. That's so interesting. Yeah.
We can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, let's do.
Yeah, I'll send you a link.
Sure. Yeah. I'll hook it up. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I
Wow,
guess
that's some good stuff. Some
that's
really
really
interesting
good.
stuff.
I definitely want to
Well,
think about that some more. Not overthink it, but definitely think about it.
Just
yeah,
ruminate
definitely
for a
something
hot
for us
second.
to think about.
Yeah.
To think about for the appropriate amount of thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
And if we can't figure it out, let it go until it comes back.
Right. And then it's full circle,
Yeah.
baby. Well, all right, guys. I hope we've given you like some good things to think about. And we will see. We're going to sign out and we'll see you next week here at Stages.
Bye.
Goodbye. Keep singing. Keep singing. People use that.